The observation deck of the Galactic Council's flagship stretched before them like a cathedral of stars. Commander Kella of the Vorten Empire stood with her forearms crossed, her crystalline skin refracting the light of 1,000 distant suns. She had fought in 17 campaigns, conquered 9 systems, and brought proud civilizations to their knees. Yet the human before her showed no sign of the terror she had come to expect from inferior species. The man called himself Tom. He wore the simple gray uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. Standing at average height, with unremarkable brown hair and eyes that seemed to hold something Kella could not quite identify. He had been captured during a routine patrol near the Outer Rim, his small scout vessel no match for her battlecruiser. Now he stood in her private chambers, hands unbound, posture relaxed. Kella circled him slowly, her predatory grace evident in every movement. Her species had evolved from apex hunters on a world where everything wanted to kill you. The Vortens had brought that mentality to the stars, and the galaxy had learned to fear them. She leaned close to the human, her fangs visible as she spoke. "Do you understand your situation, Earthling?" Her voice carried the weight of authority that had made warlords tremble. "Your world is surrounded. Your fleets are scattered. Your people will soon kneel before the Vorten Empire, or be erased from existence." Tom met her gaze without flinching. "I understand." Kella's secondary eyes narrowed. Most species would be begging by now, offering tribute or information. The Kelthans had wept. The Draxians had attacked in futile desperation. The Korgans had simply collapsed in shock. But this human just stood there with an expression she could only describe as patient. "Then why?" she hissed, bringing her face within inches of his. "Are you not afraid?" Tom considered the question for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his tone was conversational, almost friendly. "Do you know what the human homeworld is like, Commander?" Kella blinked, caught off guard by the non-answer. "I have reviewed the data. A standard Class M planet. Nothing remarkable. That's where you're wrong." Tom walked past her to the viewport, gazing out at the stars. Kella's guards tensed, but the human made no threatening moves. "Earth is a death trap. It always has been." He turned back to face her, and something in his eyes made Kella feel an unfamiliar sensation. Was it unease? "Our atmosphere is full of a highly reactive gas that causes slow oxidation of nearly everything it touches," Tom continued. "We breathe it constantly. It keeps us alive, but it also kills us slowly. Our planet has 5 major extinction events in its geological record: asteroids, volcanoes, ice ages. Each one wiped out most life on the planet." Kella's posture shifted slightly. "Many worlds have harsh histories. Our sun bombards us with radiation that causes cellular damage and cancer," Tom went on, his voice steady. "Our moon pulls at our oceans, creating massive tides that can destroy coastal settlements. We have storms that can level cities, earthquakes that can swallow entire populations, diseases that spread through our communities like wildfire." He took a step closer to Kella, and this time she was the one who held her ground with effort. "Microscopic organisms live in every drop of water we drink, every breath of air we take. Some of them help us. Many try to kill us. We exist in a constant state of biological warfare with our own environment. Our bodies are in perpetual conflict with the world around us." "This does not explain your lack of fear," Kella said. But her voice had lost some of its edge. Tom smiled then, a strange expression that showed his flat teeth. "Don't you see? Fear is our natural state. We're afraid of everything because everything on Earth wants to kill us. The predators, the prey, the plants, the weather, even the air and water. We evolved in a nightmare." He gestured to the viewport, to the cold void beyond. "Your species evolved on a harsh world, Commander. But you became the apex predator. You won. You conquered your planet and then set out to conquer others. He paused. Humans never won. We just survived. Generation after generation, barely holding on, constantly adapting, constantly fighting, constantly afraid. Kella found herself listening despite her intention to dominate this interrogation. The human's words carried a weight she had not anticipated. So we built tools, Tom continued. Not because we were strong, but because we were weak. Not because we were fearless, but because we were terrified. Every invention, every discovery, every advancement in human history came from our desperate need to survive just one more day in a world designed to kill us. He walked along the viewport, his reflection ghosting across the stars. We built shelters against the weather, developed medicine against disease, created agriculture because hunting and gathering wasn't reliable enough, invented writing because one generation's survival knowledge needed to be passed to the next. We went to war with each other because resources were scarce and fear made us cruel. Tom turned back to Kella, and now she could see what that look in his eyes had been. It was not arrogance or stupidity. It was something far more dangerous. You ask why I'm not afraid of you, Commander? Tom's voice was quiet now, but it carried clearly in the chamber. I am afraid. I'm terrified. I've been afraid since the moment your ship captured mine. I'm afraid of dying. I'm afraid for my family back on Earth. I'm afraid of what will happen if your empire reaches my homeworld. He stepped closer still, close enough that Kella's guards moved forward, weapons raised. Tom ignored them entirely. But here's what you need to understand about humans, Commander. We've been afraid for so long that fear doesn't stop us anymore. It drives us. It sharpens us. It makes us think and adapt and refuse to quit. You can't intimidate a species that learned to be afraid of their own planet and still built cities anyway. You can't terrify people who stare at their own mortality every single day and still choose to keep going. The chamber fell silent except for the distant hum of the ship's engines. Kella felt her confidence, built over decades of conquest, begin to crack. This was not how captured prisoners behaved. This was not how defeated species spoke. Your threats are real, Tom acknowledged. Your power is undeniable. You could kill me right now. You could destroy Earth's defenses. You probably have the military strength to occupy our world. He met her gaze directly. But you'll never make us stop being afraid. And you'll never make us stop fighting. Kella's claws flexed involuntarily. You would choose extinction over surrender? We'd choose survival, Tom corrected. And sometimes survival means fighting battles you can't win, because not fighting means dying on your knees. Humans have a saying, it's better to die on your feet than live on your knees. We mean it. We've proven it throughout our history. The human moved back to the viewport, his silhouette dark against the stars. You've conquered peaceful species, Commander. Species that evolved in stable environments, that developed cooperation and harmony. You've faced civilizations that see war as an aberration, violence as a failure of diplomacy. He glanced back at her. Humans see violence as a tool, war as an unfortunate reality. We've been doing it to each other for thousands of years. Not because we're evil, but because we're afraid, and fear makes us dangerous. You're not facing a peaceful species now. You're facing a species that learned warfare on a planet that tried to kill them every single day. Kella's mind raced. She thought of her intelligence reports, the data her analysts had dismissed as exaggerations. Human conflicts numbered in the thousands. Their history was written in blood. Even their entertainment glorified combat and survival. She had assumed it was primitive barbarism. Now she wondered if it was preparation. Your answer, Kella said slowly, leaves me with questions rather than reassurance. Tom nodded. Good. Because here's the thing about fear, Commander. When you make someone afraid, you give them two choices: submit or fight. Most species in this galaxy chose submission because they hadn't spent their entire evolutionary history learning to fight through fear. Humans are different. We've been choosing to fight through fear since we climbed down from the trees. He turned to face her fully, and Kella saw in his eyes the reflection of every predator she had ever faced, every enemy that had tested her courage. But behind that was something else, something that looked like sadness. "I don't want war between our peoples," Tom said quietly. "I want peace. I want cooperation. I want humanity to join the galactic community as friends, not enemies. But I won't lie to you about what we are. We're a species that learned to survive on a world that didn't want us. That made us stubborn. That made us resilient. That made us willing to do whatever it takes to keep going." Kella stood silent for a long moment, her forearms falling to her sides. She had expected defiance or desperation. She had been prepared for threats or pleading. Instead, she had received something far more concerning: honesty. "What would you have me tell the Galactic Council?" she asked finally. Tom's expression softened slightly. "Tell them humans are afraid. Tell them we want peace. But tell them also that our fear won't make us weak. It never has. And if they force us to choose between surrender and survival, we'll choose survival. We always have. It's what we do best." The commander of the Vorten Empire nodded slowly, a gesture of respect she rarely offered to any species. "Your answer has indeed left me stunned, Earthling. Perhaps we should discuss terms of negotiation rather than conquest."